exploring handwriting mode with VoiceOver.
Just like dictation, handwriting mode is another fast and convenient way for entering text into our phone. It's easy because it allows us to use our finger just like a stylus, meaning we can draw letters and characters right on the screen using our finger. It's a great way of putting text into our phone when dictation just doesn't work, and I'll demonstrate some examples of that later in the lesson. But before I do so, Amelia, would you like to introduce this topic?
Oh my gosh, I am so very excited to help with this feature. If only I had any hands and fingers in which to utilize it, but an AI text bot can dream. Today, we're going to explore handwriting mode. This is a unique and versatile feature that lets you use your finger as a stylus to write letters, numbers, and punctuation directly on your iPhone screen. First things first, how do we make sure handwriting mode is available? To use handwriting mode, it must be added to your rotor options. Here's how you do that. 1. Go to Settings. 2. Navigate to Accessibility, then VoiceOver, then Rotor. 3. Open the Rotor Items page and make sure that handwriting is selected. Then, handwriting mode shows up in the rotor when it is relevant. For example, it will appear when you are in a text field or when editing text. If you don't see it, make sure the focus is placed onto the text field you are editing. Once you have activated handwriting mode, you can start writing characters directly on the screen with your finger. Let's walk through the different modes and gestures available. 1. Switching between modes. Handwriting mode offers several input modes including lowercase letters, uppercase letters, numbers, punctuation. To switch between these modes, swipe up or down with 3 fingers. VoiceOver will announce each mode as you switch. 2. Writing characters. Once you're in the desired mode, you can use your finger as a stylus to write characters anywhere on the screen, not just on the keys on-screen keyboard. VoiceOver will announce the character it recognizes as you write. Tip: you may need to adjust how you form certain letters to match VoiceOver's expectations. For example, make sure your A has a clear shape and your T has a defined crossbar. 3. Using upper or lowercase letters VoiceOver now allows us to use uppercase letters when we are in lowercase mode. This means if you have chosen lowercase Ode but you draw a capital A, VOI VoiceOver will still type the lowercase a as you are in lowercase mode. This should ultimately help with entering characters, as it is more forgiving about how we draw characters on the screen. 4. Special gestures in handwriting mode. In addition to writing characters, there are several handy gestures you can use in handwriting mode. 2-finger swipe. Left deletes the last character you entered. 2-finger swipe. Right inserts a space. 3-finger swipe right adds a new line. These gestures make it easy to edit text without switching back to the on-screen keyboard. 5. Adding punctuation. And to add punctuation, switch to punctuation mode using the 3-finger swipe up or down gesture. Then, write the desired punctuation mark, such as a period, comma, or at symbol. To exit handwriting mode, simply use the rotor gesture again and select a different rotor option, or use a 2-finger scrub. Let's wrap up with some practical tips to help you get the most out of handwriting mode. 1. Practice makes perfect. Spend time practicing how you form letters and numbers. This will improve VoiceOver's accuracy in recognizing your handwriting. 2. Use handwriting anywhere. Remember, you can use handwriting mode anywhere on the screen. You're not restricted to the keyboard area. 3. Learn the gestures. Familiarize yourself with the special gestures. 2-finger swipe left to delete, 2-finger swipe right to add a space, and 3-finger swipe right to add a new line. These will make your text input faster and more efficient. With these tips and techniques, you'll be able to navigate the text input with even more precision and flexibility. Keep practicing, and you'll be writing like a pro in no time. Happy handwriting. Okay, apologies all around, but We can't help it. All of us AI sit around and think of jokes all day long when you humans aren't using us. So, here goes. Why did the letter A fail handwriting mode? Because it couldn't get in shape. Ha 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 ha. Oops, sorry. Hey, Mr. Brian, could we use those fingers of yours for a little bit?
I know. Here comes Mr. Fingers. Sheesh. Someday we're just going to be able to talk to the AI and it'll get to do things for us and we won't even have to touch the screen with our fingers.
I should really be offended. How dare you? I mean, really? How dare you? I'm flabbergasted. I'm appalled. I'm still without fingers. So if you would, please.
Very well. Let's take handwriting mode for a test drive. But before we do, I want to mention a couple things. The first is that I have added handwriting to my rotor already. That's something that you can do in the rotor options. If you need help with that, refer back to part 2 in this tutorial. The next thing to mention is that because the rotor is contextual, sometimes handwriting does not show up when you spin the rotor. What that means is that you have to make sure the focus stays on the text field. If the focus leaves, there's a good chance when you try to spin the rotor, your phone is going to know that the focus is not on an area where you can use handwriting. All right, so I'm going to jump into an email text field. I'm going to jump into the message body here.
Message content, message body, text field. Insertion point at start.
Okay, now that I'm in a text field, I should be able to activate handwriting by twisting my rotor clockwise 1 turn.
Handwriting, lowercase.
And it immediately jumps into lowercase handwriting mode. A couple things to note is once we're in handwriting, we can't do any other gestures except the rotor gesture to get out of handwriting mode or use the 2-finger scrub to get out of handwriting mode. What that means is that the phone is now only expecting letters and numbers and punctuation. And we can use the whole screen to do this. We don't have to actually do our letters down on the keyboard. If the keyboard is still visible and you can see it, you don't have to do it down in the keyboard area. I tend to do it right in the middle of the screen. So right now we are in lowercase. And so I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to start to draw some letters right here in the middle of the screen.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M.
And you get the idea. If I need to delete a character, I do a 2-finger swipe to the left.
M, L, K.
And it announces the characters as I do that. If I need to insert a space, I can do a 2-finger swipe to the right.
Space, at defgage, misspelled.
And because I entered a punctuation after a string of characters, it treated that as a word and it tried to read that out. If I need to put in a new line, I can do a 3-finger swipe to the right.
New line.
And it has now put a new line in there. So far we've been using lowercase letters, but if I draw uppercase letters on the screen, for example, now I'm going to draw a capital A with a peak at the top, a point at the top, and then make a cross in the middle.
A.
It did an A. If I do a capital B with a line down and then 2 humps, one on top of the other,
B.
It still thinks it's a B. So we do get the ability to draw uppercase letters even though we are in lowercase mode. If I need to draw capital letters, I do a 3-finger swipe down.
Uppercase.
And I've now switched to uppercase letters. And again, I'm just going to do some letters here.
Cap W. Cap O. Cap D. Cap P. Cap Q. Cap S.
Again, you kind of get the idea. You can just draw your letters right on the screen. If I do, let's see, I'm going to do a lowercase g. I'm just going to draw lowercase g on the screen.
Cap G.
It still printed a capital G even though I drew a lowercase g because I am in uppercase mode. If I need to do numbers, I can do a 3-finger swipe down again.
Numbers.
And now I can just do numbers on the screen.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A 3-finger swipe down again will move us into punctuation.
Punctuation.
And I can do all kinds of punctuation.
Period. Comma. Backslash. Slash. Underscore. At.
And there's the @ symbol. That's a good one to do, especially for emails. You can also 3-finger swipe in the opposite direction to go through the modes in reverse.
Lowercase. Uppercase. Numbers. Punctuation. Numbers. Uppercase. Lowercase. Punctuation.
When you want to exit handwriting mode, you can either engage the rotor
Words.
to a different spot, or you could do a 2-finger scrub,
Stopping handwriting.
and it will also exit out of handwriting mode and return the phone to normal. Being able to use handwriting in non-traditional edit fields is very helpful. For example, a email edit field, if you try to dictate in there, as soon as you say things like @ or period, VoiceOver will try to insert a space after those punctuation marks. And so it does not put email addresses in there correctly. So a lot of times I would just use handwriting mode to enter an email address because it's just much more efficient. We can use handwriting mode on secure text fields, such as places where we have to enter our passcode. If my phone restarts out in public, I'm not going to be able to use my fingerprint or Face ID to unlock my phone. I'm going to have to enter my passcode. That means if I don't have a set of headphones, then VoiceOver is going to announce all those characters out loud to the public as I'm poking my array around the numpad. So here's a demonstration of how we can do this. I'm going to go into a spot where my phone is asking for my passcode, and I'm going to show you how we can use handwriting mode to mask our characters and not announce them out loud.
Secure text field is editing. Insertion point at start. Handwriting. Lowercase. Uppercase. Numbers.
You can see I've switched to handwriting mode and now gone to numbers, and now I can just draw my passcode right on the screen.
Settings. Back button.
And that has passed me through. It has accepted my passcode and it has not announced the numbers out loud. It definitely gives us a sense of privacy out in public if we have to put our passcode in out in public. Alrighty, so that's a little tour of handwriting mode on the iPhone. Amelia, you got any clever jokes for us before we go today?
Well, certainly, Mr. Fingers, if you insist. So, here goes. Why did the iPhone complain after using handwriting mode? It was feeling a little drawn out. I kill myself. Okay, get it together. What shall we conquer next? How about more with VoiceOver settings and the accessibility shortcut? Sounds good? Okay, back in a mo.